kind, benevolent ruler decided that he had had enough of the evil being around. And he's like, nothing can exist in my kingdom that is not love. And so slowly all of the evil got, like, coagulated into a big, giant blob as it was making its way out of the kingdom by the power of the creed. But then some little jackass kid saw the big blob of evil and was like, I love you. And so all of that evil was going to go into the child. And everybody thought that would be a terrible idea, to have it all concentrated into one kid. So they decided that they'd all love it a little.
Was because they listened intently to the sermon every week and had small quibbles, and they discussed their quibbles over lunch right after church. And so I listened to them hear the word of God from the man of God, and not just kind of let it wash over them like everything he said was true, but they tested the spirits, and sometimes they definitely fell into probably like gossiping or judging. I'm sure, like, of course they made mistakes and went too far. They have personality foibles that can get carried away. But like all that to say, that was where the kind of perhaps skepticism, healthy or not, was inculcated for me. But obviously you can see how that would be wrapped up in issues of authority, which I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, does that get back to the kind of, is that why the unconditional trust is connected to the unconditional respect in some weird way? That kind of authority structure. I did realize when I was a young man, I kind of thought that like all truth was based on authority, because you had to, in order for trust to be, or in order for you to hear something and trust it, you had to trust the person that was giving it to you. And the best way to trust somebody is for them to be an authority over you, because you're entrusted to them. On a little play on words, you're entrusted to them, so you trust them. But yeah, now I give a little bit more agency to the individual and a little bit more variety to the human population about how they, behave in those types of relationships. But I think the truth still, I think that there's still a nugget in there that might be helpful for your problem, Af, which is to say, I don't think you teach a healthy skepticism with something that's like not on the same level of importance or truth or reality. You teach that healthy skepticism with like the most important things in life, which are, for my family in that context was, the word of God given by the man of God on Sunday. So, yep.
I gotta say that the timing on that one was so good. The combination of the gameplay plus the conversation. So, thank you, CC, for that branding. And yeah, we're about 1 week out to Midwestuary. So if you haven't bought your tickets already, you know what to do.
In that sense, that's where I see this little corner coming to meet this moment.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
Because
So just let me make sure and sorry for interrupting, I just want to get it. Instead of the we being, it's like, no, this little corner is a nexus point of many different Christian groups and non-Christian groups. And that nexus point is perhaps the place we should look for as the thing that will rise to the response. Is that what I'm hearing you
Yes.
say? That's really good, Paul.
And that's what I hear when you say, this is how this little corner should steal the culture.
And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be one of the estuary group leaders, Group 32, represent. So yeah, see y'all there, and let's go ahead and lock in. Howdy, Embody. Afriel here. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Today, I would like to talk about passing the Gom Jabbar. So, the Gom Jabbar is a poisoned needle in the Dune universe, and I don't have the audio on. Let's fix that. There we go. So the Gom Jabbar is a poisoned needle from the Dune universe, primarily used by, or maybe not primarily, but one of the main uses of it is by the Bene Gesserit when they are testing to see whether someone is quote-unquote human. And the way that they do that is they take whoever the test subject is and they place their hand in a box that causes extreme pain. And then they place the needle at your neck, and then based off of... Do I not have combat charms on? Maybe that's why I was having such a hard time. They place the poisoned needle at your neck, and then they just put your hand in a box that causes extreme pain. And if you withdraw your hand, then you're showing that your fear of pain is greater than your fear of death, and you fail the test. You are very noisy. I took you out potty. I gave you food, specifically so I could stream in peace. And I am not being given peace. Yes? Do you need attention? Lordy. And we'll do poop spore. And what else? Not morbid pride. Boulder shell. Maybe boulder shell. Do soul catcher, actually. Okay, I need both my hands now. Can I have both my hands? Are you gonna bark at me? I love you. And just to pull a quote from that chapter, you've heard of animals chewing off a leg to escape a trap? There is an animal kind of trick. A human would remain in the trap, endure the pain, feigning death that he might kill the trapper and remove a threat to his own kind. That's the Reverend Mother. You can please go lie down. Please. No. Okay. And it's incredibly difficult to learn how to overcome that kind of panic and to keep a clear head. And one of the first steps in doing that is to learn how to stop flailing. And I'll give an example of that from my personal life. Not from my own flailing, but from the flailing that was done by a friend of mine. What is it? Do I need to put you outside? Okay, we're gonna put you outside. I will be right back. One moment, please. Come on, you. Okay. So, anywhoozles. When I was in... I probably should have pathed back to it one time. I think it's this way? Yeah, it's this way. So one time back when I was in ROTC back in college, one of the requirements that we had to do was something called the CWST, which stood for Combat Water Survivalist. And the idea with that was that you had to do a couple of tasks in and around the water. You had to jump off of a high point without being able to see. You had to swim a certain distance while wearing a uniform, a bunch of different things. But you had to be able to swim and you had to be comfortable in the water. And I'm a pretty strong swimmer. Howdy, Ron. I'm a pretty strong swimmer, but one of my friends was not. And he asked if I could try and help him learn how to swim. And so I wanted to give him a hand, so I tried to help him. But when I tried to help him, it was enlightening, we'll put it that way. So I was just starting out trying to have him float by himself, or not by himself, but like float in the water on his back, with his head submerged in the water enough that his ears were getting filled up. And I was supporting him from below. There was no danger of him dying. And I knew that was going to happen. There we go. There's no danger of him dying. There's no danger of him drowning. I'm right there. I have worked as a lifeguard before. I know how to pull people out of the water if they're in a bad spot. There was nothing going on that, if he was using his rational mind, would make him believe that he was in any danger whatsoever. And yet, he would get restless after a little while, and he would start thrashing about until he could grab a hold of something. And I didn't really realize, I think, until that point, like how most people feel and how most people engage with that kind of fear. Like especially, I'm pretty sure that he had drowned or like come close to drowning as a kid, and so he was already very fearful of experiencing that again. And there's only so much rational confidence or comfort that you can have in another person that they're just going to be panicked. That's just how things go. And yeah, I don't know how if I could have helped him beyond what I did, because that's something internal that he was going to have to work on, that he was going to have to figure out. It's like, okay, how do I trust that the person that I am good friends with, who is qualified to be able to help me, is going to... I'm just going to go back to the bench real quick so I can look at the map and know where I'm at and where I'm going. But yeah, he has no reason to be afraid, no rational reason, but he has every emotional reason to be afraid, and so flail. And he would have been fine. Like if he learned to just trust and float, he could have been there for minutes, hours if necessary, but he could not let go of that fear. And then another more active bit from a very different walk of life. He's a little bit controversial for some folks, but I've enjoyed watching him for a while. LS, or Last Shadow. He is somebody who got his start originally with StarCraft, and then did a lot of stuff with League of Legends, especially coaching stuff. And there's some argument about whether he actually is like as good as he says he is, and whether he's able to help people as much as he claims to be able to. And that's, I don't know. I have found the things that he has said to be insightful and helpful, even if some of his more advanced takes aren't the best. There's some stuff that I think is pretty irrefutably correct. So like one thing in particular that caught my attention and interest was in a lot of his coachings, what he would do is he would have the person he was coaching attack, and this is going to rely a little bit on having some prior knowledge of League of Legends, so forgive me for those in the audience if you guys are not familiar, and you're free to ask me to clarify and explain what the heck I'm talking about. But yeah, he would have them attack for the first minion wave. They would attack one melee creep once, one melee creep twice, and then after they did that, they would then... Oh my goodness, I am just dooking up the place. Trying not to die. Trying to get somewhere where I can get away from all of these. There we go. There we go. Much better. And now I can heal. And so, the way that League of Legends works is you have a roughly even amount of damage spread across the melee minions on the first wave. After that, it gets a little bit more randomized, but for the first one, they program it to be pretty much just that, so you can't... It's harder to cheese the wave. So what happens is if you attack one of the melee minions once and one of them twice, then the one that you didn't attack will... the one that you attack twice will go all the way down in health until it's ready to be last hit, because the way that you gain gold in League of Legends is by being the one to hit and kill a minion or a creature or a champion, the last person to hit it. And so by attacking one twice and one once and one no times, it makes it much easier to actually attack and kill those minions without... Oh, am I gonna get it? There we go. Without it being... Without the randomness that can come as a consequence of if you just auto-attack, auto-attack, auto-attack. Because what happens when you do that is there is... not so much an element of randomness in the sense of the game, but an element of randomness in the sense of your play. And so rather than being able to know exactly when and where and how you're going to be able to last hit things, you end up in a situation where you are trying to last hit and you can't do it consistently. So you have to stop flailing, you have to stop just attacking things because you can have the ability to attack them, and you have to do so deliberately in a way that enables your objectives. And I did not get as much done with my outline as I wanted to, so that's it for the outline. I will try now to kind of off the cuff talk about the rest of my thoughts on this. Because, yeah, the thought is... I should go back and kill some things and heal. There's a fruit fly or something bugging me. So the issue that I see with a lot of people, and I mean I'm guilty of it sometimes too, is this idea of like unnecessary movement, of unclean movement too. Oh, come on. Well, at least I got the shade first. Not that it had that much geo on it, because I dumped it last time. Yeah. So you have this idea of unnecessary movement, where someone is, say I'm trying to get from one side of the room to the other. And I can do all sorts of intermediate movements, right? I can do all sorts of weird, crazy stuff, but if my objective is to get from one side of the room to the other as quickly as possible, then what I should actually be doing is crystal hearting, right? And this gets me, like, of all the options that I have, of all the different ways that I can move inside of this game, howdy, Mark, that's the fastest way to traverse across a horizontal space. And so I don't usually want to do it in here because I don't want to just fly into the next room because there's enemies in the next room and I don't want to do that. I don't want to fly into them. But it's kind of this idea of how do I not backtrack unnecessarily? How do I not, like, oh, I'm going to fall 3 times before I finally get up on this platform? Like, that's no good. You want to be clean with your movement. You want to be clean with your gameplay. And the same thing goes for things more generally, too, in terms of life. That there's a lot of ways of moving in the world where you can be more or less efficient about what it is that you're doing. And quite frankly, with the notion of that Gom Jabbar, if you're not being efficient, you're not actually being human, not properly. You're being more like an animal than you are like a human being. And that's not to say that... I think that that's part of what it means to be human, though, is to grow from being an animal into something more like that, right? Like I flailed, and then I fell. So you don't want to do that. You want to be deliberate with your action. You want to have an idea of exactly what it is that you're trying to achieve, and then you want to be as efficient as possible in aiming towards it. And sometimes you're going to have inefficient movement just by the nature of the fact that you're not as skilled as you might like to be, or that you don't know exactly what the right path forward is. It's not something that's always a hard and fast, like, oh, you're just bad and you'll never be better. It's like, no, that's the whole idea behind... Well, I'll save the idea because that's going to be the next stream. After we get back from Midwest Terrary and my brother's wedding, which is the following weekend. So I'll have a 2-week break after this, and then we'll be back to it again for the finale. But yeah, it's not that it just will come automatically. Right? It's not that you'll just be able to be good all of a sudden. It'll take effort and it'll take practice. That was a heck of a move, actually. Dashed and went shadow as he went through me. That was pretty good. But yeah, it requires you to... You see, that's just rude, sir. Just for that. Sit. And it's really easy to be self-delusional about it too, to say, well, no, like because there's this idea of like dash dancing in video games, but I think actually, what would it be called more generally? Like keeping on your toes in terms of sports. Like, if you don't want to be flat-footed if you're playing something like basketball or tennis. You want to be bouncing back and forth on the balls of your feet, so that way when you have to move, you can quickly respond to whatever the demands for your movement are. And you want to be able to do that. You want to be able to quickly respond to demand for movement, and so it's not wasted movement per se. You have the same idea in most fighting games, you have the same idea in League of Legends, where you want to be constantly clicking back and forth. You want to constantly be, I'm going to try and go back and then back in. So hopefully that'll reset the aggro, and then I can get my shade without as much trouble. Can I get out? Get me out of here. But yeah. So it's not easy to not flail. It's actually quite difficult. But it's what you should be striving for. What you should be aiming for. And now that we're finally at the boss, go ahead and hop into Discord chat. See if Ron's there yet, or not. Nope. Just by myself. We'll see if anybody wants to pop in, and otherwise I'll be trying to kill this Honey Knight, and then... or Bee Knight. And then we're gonna go do Path of Pain. Alright. We got this, we got this, we got this. Oh, bullet hells, that was something else I wanted to mention. We'll get to that in a minute. Howdy, Ron. Oh, and Mark. You got 2 bullets. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, have you beaten this game yet, or like going back through, or are you still working on it?
I have beaten this game once before, back in, oh, when would that have been? Back when I was still in the army, so 2019, I think, 2018.
But on this round, you
What's that? One more time.
Mark S.
Mark might be having audio
Well,
issues.
yeah, I had to turn off the YouTube. It was freaking me out. I was like hearing the past in the present.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stream it to Discord so that way you can watch it live instead of having to watch it on like a 5-second delay, because that's always irritating.
Oh, I see. Hey, what's up, Ron?
Hey, Mark, just got done with the worship gig, and I was looking forward to hanging out with you guys.
Well, I was gonna try not to go on streams for a while, but then I broke it, and so I figured I might as well just go wild. No, I'm probably not going to stay on very long. I just wanted to come on for a second, so it's like actually. And,
We're glad to have you for as long as you want to stick around.
but I was kind of wondering about, because I've dropped in a number of times, and it seems like you've been playing this game for like over a month, right? A couple months maybe. And you just played on Saturday nights then this time?
Yeah. It's a game that I have played privately before, and so it was one of those like, okay, I'm going to play this just as like a stream game to show to other people, because I think that it's a really awesome, beautiful game, and I just wanted to share, or have the opportunity to share it with others.
Yeah, it's pretty visually interesting. And one thing that just occurred to me right now is how it really is just 2D, even though it's so.
It's definitely made to look 3D, but the actual gameplay part.
Yeah,
of it,
I didn't.
Like if you pay attention, like you can see there's like hex combs in the foreground that move differently than the background. So it's constructed in a way. I forget how they programmed it specifically, but you basically have different layers at different depths, and then you have a camera. So all the gameplay is happening in one plane, but the actual like visual effects are not all in the same plane necessarily.
Right, like the guy is always the same distance from the camera, but the background
Moves
varies.
differently. Yep.
Huh. Well, thank Da Vinci for that one, right? Or whoever, I don't know. Before
Somebody.
Da Vinci.
Whoever figured out parallax. Foreground, midground, background. Yep, exactly right, CC. Yeah. So how you guys doing?
Well,
Besides
Not
just being
bad.
done with worship stuff.
right. Well, good. Dealing with me and winning a losing battle. You talk about what is it? How did you put it? Worthless movement, or going from an animal to human because of the way you move. I have. It is my opinion that that can actually be applied internally in your mind and heart. So I have been working on what thoughts I've been having and how they've. Because if you have the wrong thought, you can move into something sharp and pointy within yourself.
Yep.
And I'm realizing it will happen most often around people.
Yep.
And I'm learning that repentance, forgiveness, is like, if you can, that is a superpower and a weapon against, I think, I want to be bold here, Af, I think just about all dark arts or dark critters or darkness. And if I think I have it together, that's like, well, let me help you practice that. Or anyhow. So that's how, and it's been challenging. I mean, really challenging and really good. So that's my life up to date. And then I was looking forward to talking with you guys.
Always.
Yeah,
Well,
so
then
what's news with you?
if it's any consolation, you said that you're dealing with you. And in my opinion, there's a lot worse people to deal with than you.
Well, yeah, have you ever seen the inside of me? I'm telling you what, there are some critters in there that need to be. I'm like, but I appreciate that, and likewise for you guys. But Cece, I don't know. Like Cece, I've seen her once in a bar fight. She took a pull cue and she put it up. I've seen her clear out a bar full of bikers. I'm serious. She's scary sometimes.
I mean, she's a tattooed lady, so she's not somebody.
I'm telling you what. Yeah, really. And I think she was like an MMA fighter. So, but I think she's learning the hardest. So, and also, like, I love comedy.
That's the word on the internet.
What's that?
Yeah, that's the word on the internet.
That's exactly, yeah. So, and I gotta say, as much as I've dealt with me internally, I'm really enjoying people, especially people who know how to talk good trash. I mean, it is so much fun. It really, I think it feeds the soul in a major way. So,
strongly agreed.
What about you, Marquez?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
What's new in your life? Why did you want to stop going on streams, and what pulled you on a stream anyway? And then
just like different social situations in my life that are kind of prickly, and I just want to keep them safe.
Okay.
Like all these different warring bodies, and not even warring, just in my head. Like I feel like they're split. And yeah, so I just sometimes I have conversations on here like for the most part, being anonymous sucks on the internet, but sometimes I'm just glad I am. Because of people that are just so extremely opinionated in my life about things that I'd rather just not. So yeah, I didn't want to come on for a while. I didn't want to oversaturate the market. Like when Buck Owens, he was like number one in the 1960s. Number one hits like all the way through, just the top guy. And then he went on Hee Haw, which was a popular country music television show, and he stopped having number one hits. And he always thought it was because he oversaturated the market and people saw too much of him.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I want to stay with my number one truth. You know, of
Is that
like,
what happened? Is that what happened to Jesus, and that's why they crucified him?
Live fast, die young. Is that what I'm hearing? That was Jesus' motto.
I think Mark understands exact. No, Jesus oversaturated his market, and they
I
killed
mean,
him.
he was just always out there, just walking around. You know,
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
just walking around. He's like, oh, he's coming back to town.
Mm-hmm.
There he comes
This
down
guy.
the dusty road.
This
Look,
guy.
he's got these people following him.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Idiots, idiots. Um,
Yeah, but they're listening to him, which is annoying.
It's annoying. I've never heard that. Can you tease that out? I kind of like that.
no,
Well,
I'm not saying that they were idiots. I'm just saying that the
no,
people
that's
that
the
killed him
perception. Yeah,
were
no,
idiots.
I got you.
I like that. He was annoying. He annoyed people, so they killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Mark S. I just totally hijacked what you were saying.
Nope, I don't even remember what I was saying.
All right. Oh, by the way, I do think being anonymous is not bad. And I do think, like, all right, I'll share it. Like, sometimes, especially in the Discords, there are people who are anonymous who are incredibly opinionated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's good for anybody to watch out for anyone who's overly opinionated, who's anonymous. If you have friends, if you have relationships with someone and they're overly opinionated, at least you know where they live. You know what I mean? And I'm not in a threatening way, but like at church, like you know where they worship. Like eventually they'll get called out, I think. So
Well,
when there's no, Hmm? I was thinking accountability.
Mm-hmm.
No, for sure, and that's one thing. Like, I originally just was anonymous because my introduction to everything was Chad, and we were talking about AA.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I'd been on here a while, like that, I was like, well, I guess I'm just anonymous. And but now it's kind of like I have to really, I have to really own that. It's I'm not a troll. I'm actually just myself, and I can't use the anonymity in order to like play some part. I still have to try to be real,
Right.
and I don't want to use it as some like uh, facade or something like that. And besides, like I'm gonna meet all you guys next week, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a secret person. I'm just the thing is like I want to make I've been making like Christian art, and the problem is like the church I go to is not very aesthetic, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the reasons I like being here is because there's like kind of weird religious people who have interesting artistic ideas that I like to talk to that I don't really find in my church, you know. So that's one of the biggest things, and just weird theology. Like
Hmm.
if people in my church knew I was like talking to like universalists and Gnostics and New Age people, and like, and it's like, dude, I enjoy like weird ideas. I want to talk to people that have different different points of view. So anyhow, that's what that's why
Hi, guys.
I'm anonymous, and that's why I kind of took a break.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
Right.
hold on a second.
Also, I just want to chime in that Mills had a great one. Jesus the Gadfly. Oh, we lost Rod. you still there,
That's
Mark?
wrong, man. You're always losing them.
I mean,
That's wrong
he
with
tends to
playing.
wander off. So, CC's asking for an update on the game. So this area is called the Path of Pain, and we're going to try and get through it. I have never actually successfully completed this part of the game. It is a very challenging platforming section that shows you a little bit of like lore content if you're able to complete it. There's no real benefit gameplay wise other than just lore. So but yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm relatively anonymous, so I definitely have an appreciation for that.
And I've also kind of decided, like, some of the work that I'm doing, like, it's not gonna be, I'm never gonna make any money off it. Likely,
Yep.
I might make a couple bucks here and there, but
Yep.
like, I want it to be in churches. I feel like now this like everything is digital and everything is streamed, that to like have work used in a church by people would be special. And but I want to, and I've thought a lot about it, and I think I'm going to like produce it anonymously too. I think I'm going to not put my whole name on it, and for a few reasons, but one reason is just like the AA principle of anonymity is so powerful.
Mhm.
It's like who cares? I'm nobody, you know. I don't want my whole name to be on, dude. If my whole name was like on a screen of a big church, you know, dude, I don't want that.
No,
There's a part of me that really would want that, and that's why I don't want that.
because you know that part wouldn't necessarily be good for you, I'm guessing.
Not me, not me. Religion is so sensitive, you know.
Especially the kinds of beliefs that people hold at the sort of religious level. I think that's... You don't want to go poking people in their axioms.
No. And it's because sometimes I just want to be cool with people. I don't feel like, you know, people have such there's some people I know they're sticky points that I just can avoid because I like other things about them, or maybe I'm close to them and I, you know, basically have to deal with them. So I try to do, but they're the sticky points that I have to avoid with them. I want to explore in other places, and yeah.
Yep. Well, because you still have the question, right? Like, it's not like the question's going to go away. You know that the other person's not going to respond positively to it, but that doesn't mean that you don't stop wondering about whatever it is that you're thinking about. And especially if you have a community of people, even if they're not necessarily like-minded about all aspects, but they're open-minded enough and caring enough that they're willing to share... Gosh darn it, I did that again. They're willing to share their thoughts and opinions with you in a non-judgmental sort of a way, and also not, like, to a degree proselytizing, to a degree trying to say, hey, like, this is what I believe, and that's, like, I think that you should believe it too, because this is what I see as truth. But, I don't know, I don't get that vibe as much in TLC. There's definitely some people, some pockets of it that are much more evangelical in that sort of a way. But the overall pattern seems to be one much more friendly to dialogue especially about extremely controversial or difficult to discuss subjects.
Well, like, so I'm not a universalist. However, I feel like sometimes I enjoy listening to the universalists because, you know, there are some aspects of that that I do believe, even though not completely. Or, and like jumping across these divides, um, like, yeah, I'll wear my beliefs on my sleeve. I really like believe in the literal Bible and everything. But it's like, okay, now we can talk about other things. I don't have to. I really don't have to push things on people. And I like Orthodoxy. Eastern Orthodoxy. On one hand, I don't think I would ever. I don't think I'd ever join it, of course. But like a lot of it seems just like extremely mythical. But on the other hand, I think there's like something to it that's really awesome. Um, there's like these. It's like that's how I feel about the spirit world. It's like there's stuff going on, and I know it's there, but if I try to define it and say this means this, then I don't feel like I'm on solid ground. I just kind of have to acknowledge that there are conflicting spirits, and it's interesting, and God wants me to be aware of it, but I can't draw a bunch of conclusions from it. But I will share some woo with you that so since I've come back to church, I have had so for the past 10 years of my life, I had like reoccurring dreams that I was just like out in a desolate place. And it's like never the same exact place, but it's like the same landscape. And just like wandering by myself. And sometimes it would be like in northern Wisconsin, sometimes it'd be kind of where I grew up near the river, sometimes it would be like in an underground bus station or something, but I would just be kind of lost. And then ever since I don't know how I'm getting into this, but I'm just being weird, but so ever since I kind of came back to church, I've just had straight up demonic dreams, like just where there's demons, and like evil monsters. Okay. And I wake up and it's just like because I've shared before. I just like I went, I was like a devout Christian when I was younger, and then I went off way off, and
Burning Man off.
Yeah. And then even after I got sober, I did all this meditation and read all this stuff, and so who knows what I opened myself up to? And maybe it's all psychological, but who cares? So anyway, I had a dream the other night where, so I've had these demonic dreams lately, and I had a dream the other night where I was like in this almost hellscape. It was like an underground abandoned thing, and I was in like a haunted place, but there was somebody from the TLC in there with me. And it wasn't like one person from the TLC. It was just like a bunch of people aggregated, and they were just like shooting fireworks out the window at whatever was there.
Okay.
And like some enemy, And, but they were like some eccentric weirdo, and then I went in this other room. And this one minister from my town is he's like a really like legalistic fundamentalist guy, but I kind of know him. I kind of respect him in a way, but I wouldn't want to go to his church or anything. Like he was like blowing up a life raft for me, and then that was the dream, and it was almost like I don't know, it was interesting, even though I was like in a haunted purgatory. there was like people there helping me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I thought about it, it was like the PLC person was like shooting magic missiles
Yep.
almost, you know.
Attacking the darkness.
And they were just shooting them out into the darkness.
Yep.
And then it occurred to me later that day, I was like, I wonder if that is what that was, you know. I don't believe in magic or anything, but a dream is a dream. So
It sounded pretty
anyway,
cool.
thanks for letting me share, man.
Yeah. No, that was really interesting. Oh gosh darn it, I did it again. I don't think I've heard that from anybody else. I'm curious if anybody else has had TLC dreams. But that's really funny that you like dreamed about casting magic missiles against the darkness. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even put it together until like later that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, was that magic missiles?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was still kind of a nightmare, but there was like a light at the end, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, that's why I don't go on streams, because I just like will dominate it talking about my dreams and stuff. You know?
I mean, it's that or me silently playing Hollow Knight, so I am more than happy to have company.
This is called Hollow Knight?
Yep. Gosh. Yeah, this is a really... Like, people who are very experienced at video games apparently don't have as many issues with it, but people who are intermediate, like myself, this is very challenging, especially relative to the other parts of the game.
I always kind of sucked at video games.
It's something that, I don't know, you can definitely get good at them by yourself, but it is way easier if you can have somebody teach you how to think about games well. Like, there's certain like language aspects of like how games try and talk to you in terms of what they want you to do that aren't always intuitive until you are familiar with them. And then there's also just like skill things and like how to think through your options properly. Stuff like that is just not... It's not trivial. It's not something that comes intuitively to most people. I think the people who find it the most interesting are probably the ones who have the most natural inclination for that sort of thing. But it's definitely a lot easier to recognize the beauty of video games if you have someone there to kind of show you that beauty, rather than just trying to, like, seeing that clearly somebody is seeing beauty in this thing, but what is it? What is it actually? What's the nature of it? Like, not always obvious.
So it's kind of after you solve the puzzle, then you have respect for the puzzle maker.
Yes.
You have a thing.
Don't roll your thumb, press, press. Press, press. Yeah, this particular part of the game is what I was thinking about too in terms of flailing, because you have to be very clean with your movement. You have to be like almost like, there's maybe some opportunities for where you could have wasted movement, but there's almost none. You have to be so precise, and I did that again. Because rather than waiting for the buzzsaw to come down,
I mean, I was at a family thing on Christmas, and there was like some of the kids playing Fortnite, and I played a few rounds, and of course got my head blown out, immediately. But other than that, I really haven't played any new video games in, from what I can remember, maybe 20 years. Probably a little bit here and there, but so in this, I mean, do you just have endless chances, or
Kind of.
can you actually die?
I have health, but I have a charm on that regenerates the last health that you lose. It's like if you look up in the top left, my health bar looks like honeycomb masks. So whenever I lose a health, it slowly regenerates that last one lost. And then, like I can potentially take more than 1 point of damage in the process of having an environmental death, but usually I don't. And so as long as I wait for that to, oh gosh, trying to be fancy.
So if you die too fast,
Yes,
then
then I can't.
You're
go
done.
back. But as
You
long
gotta
as I'm
survive a
patient,
while.
then it's fine.
Oh. Is this a pretty popular game?
I'd say so. I don't know like how many copies it sold relative to like AAA games, but it's definitely one of the more popular indie games. Hey, we made it to the first checkpoint. Hallelujah. Alright.
Very good. We did it.
We did the first part, which honestly, I want to say that's one of the harder parts of it, but I could be wrong. Like they kind of like front load some of the difficulty, and then it gets really hard at the end.
So this is still the beginning?
We're on part 2 now.
How many parts are there?
I actually don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, like see that I got another break right there, and like, yeah, and now the music changed, so you know you're making progress.
So this is an indie game. I wouldn't have guessed that because it looks pretty professional.
Oh, it gives me that? That's okay. I thought I was going to have to do that again. Oh gosh, is there anything the other way? There's a door. Fun. Yeah, no, it was made by a team of like 20-ish people, I want to say. I think Australian or New Zealand. And yeah. Like, I think that what we're starting to see within the gaming industry as a whole is that the games that are doing really well, the games that are well made, are ones that are being made by a dedicated small team of people that have a really distinct artistic vision for what they want to achieve. And then, oh my gosh, that's so hard. Rather than trying to do like big budget studio stuff, the only one that I can think of recently that was a really popular, really successful one was Baldur's Gate 3. That one did pretty well, but as a general rule, you're not seeing as many Oblivions or Fallouts or what have you.
So Baldur, wasn't that like a character in Norse mythology?
Possibly, I'm actually not sure.
I think Baldur is related to Thor and Odin somehow.
Okay. I'll have to look that up. Is that I've seen the name referenced in a couple of different games now. This one, Dark Souls, and Baldur's Gate. That tends to be how creative people try and point to, hey, this is a name that you should be paying attention to, by putting it in a bunch of different places.
He's the son of Odin.
Son of Odin. Okay. What was he the god of, /
Well, I'm gonna go by memory here,
Hmm?
so you can just not listen. But
Okay.
from what I understood, when I think somebody equated him with Apollo, so
Okay.
a god of the sun. If you're like doing a syncretic comparison, because there's like loose analogies in all those pantheons. Yeah, Apollo was pretty important in the Greeks and Romans. And then and then there's some, like when you even go to the, the Vedic gods like Shiva and all them. Even people equate those with the, the European gods.
The aliens have been here the whole time. We just thought they were deities instead of.
So
Cece got the ick. Well, I hope you feel better. Have a good rest of your evening.
yes, easy. Oops. So weren't you doing that series with Grimgriz about the Egyptian Ra?
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see it because it was a members only thing. I'm not a member right now, but I don't know.
He's put some. I think all of them actually now are out publicly. So if you want to go check those out, you can. I also have them linked on my channel. So.
What do you think aliens are?
I don't know. I think that them being the kinds of things that are talked about in the raw material makes the most sense to me out of any explanation that I've heard or seen. So that's kind of what my headcanon is until proven otherwise. Which is kind of a dangerous place to be, especially... I don't know. Being in a very Christian space and having beliefs about things that are... I wouldn't say anti-Christian, because I think that they are still compatible with Christianity, but they're definitely outside of Christian understandings of the world, of cosmology. And then also, like I talked about it in one of them, but the notion that Rob puts forward that Jesus wasn't nearly as special of a guy as Christians make him out to be, it's like, okay, well, that's... And I have my own kind of idea of like how you could potentially square that circle of like, within that framework, Jesus wandered down from some higher octave to us, and that once he wandered down there, I don't know. It's hard to talk about too without sounding too woo or weird, because without having read the source material, there's a lot of terminology and a lot of concepts that I have not found them anywhere else. And maybe that's just because I wasn't as familiar with like New Age spirituality and stuff, but because that's the other thing, they pull from a lot of different sources with that. So if they are faking it, if it is just a big hoax thing, part of what makes it so compelling is the fact that they're pulling from a whole bunch of different places, a whole bunch of different religious traditions and conspiracy theorist type stuff. Like, there's just a lot that would corroborate and that's one of those things that's like, okay, is that corroboration that should be taken as like, okay, maybe this is something that's worth listening to, or is that corroboration of like, oh, they're just good hoaxsters who know how to make something sound more compelling?
Yeah, and are they such good hoaxsters that they actually are sincere and are hoaxing themselves?
Yeah, that is a good point too.
I mean, who knows? Because I left a comment on one of his videos that, like, maybe a year, well, definitely more than a year ago, that it came up on my YouTube feed, like the raw. I don't remember what it was, but you know, the revelation or whatever, like the audio of it.
Yep.
And I started listening to it. And I was like, this is wild, you know.
Yeah.
But I was like, sort of like getting back into Christianity, so I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't listen to this too much.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
And besides that, I kind of have explored that world. Definitely not as in depth as other people, but definitely spent a lot of time. Just kind of like the New Age Eastern philosophy, you know, like. And I put in the comments of the video, I was like, what the hell is this? Why did this come up on my YouTube feed? And somebody commented, it is because you have been chosen.
Yeah, and that's, yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know? Because for me, it's like, so many years, just sort of like exploring these things, like always believing in God, believing in a higher power and everything. At the end, I just came back, well, if any of it's true, then for me, the Bible's true. I'll just go with that. So much of the the title of New Age, I don't even really like that. It's tough because there's so many different dimensions to, you know, I was watching, I just watched like a little bit of a Harold Bloom interview today. Harold Bloom, you know who he was like a literary critic. He wrote a lot about just classic literature.
Okay.
And he was on Charlie Rose because he wrote a book about Jesus.
Okay.
And Charlie Rose goes, well, are you agnostic? He goes, no, I'm not agnostic. I'm a Gnostic. He's like, I believe that God is within all of us, and then there's also a God that's without of us. And like, oh yeah, I used to believe that. You know, it's like that's what I think. That's kind of what not most people. I don't know if most people believe that, but I feel like the intellectuals of the world believe that. You know, like most people aren't atheists. Most people believe in like a divinity within. And for like me personally, like working out these things, like of course as a Christian I believe I have the Holy Spirit in me, but I believe that like my spirit, even though it's not God, there's something divine about it, even though I don't think it's God. So, but for many years, like I had this AA sponsor who was a borderline mystic. He like helped lots and lots of people, and he was an interesting guy to talk to. And he like one time he was telling me, he's like, you know, this whole made in the image of God. He's like, I don't know about that. God is me. God is within me, and at the core of my being is God. And he told me that, and I used to do yogic meditation like twice a day for a long time. And I always, like, there were times I would try to get there, but I just never, I don't know, it never hit me like that. Like, I felt like God was present, but the fact that I am, or God is me, like, maybe there's something in me that just couldn't accept that, and that's fine, but
I don't know.
that idea, it's like, I'm glad I didn't. I I listen to a lot of like theology about the Christian God, and it's kind of comforting that God is not me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, well, anyway, I don't mean to rant on about
No,
whatever,
you're good.
but
This is stuff that I really enjoy talking about. You're good.
yeah, me too. I do too. And yeah, many podcasts that I listen to about these types of things. Are you familiar with like the world of parapolitics?
No, what's that?
So parapolitics is a term that is basically applied to like left-wing conspiracy theory.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of overlap with right-wing conspiracy theory. And it's almost like straight-up communists who like believe in all the same general conspiracy theories that your conservatives will, and they kind of will be fellowshipping with each other on each other's podcasts and citing each other and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And there's this one podcast called The Farm Mock 2. Like this left-wing guy, but he believes in all this occult stuff and, you know, talks about conspiracy and everything. And there's another one called Subliminal Jihad. And it's great stuff. Like probably because I was looking at some of the alt-right stuff back in like 17 and 18, and even those guys, they have, you know, they'll say things like this whole thing about the post-war consensus now that people are talking about in the woke right and everything, that, you know, Hitler was formerly the Satan of Western culture and all these things. Like that's basically just what the alt-right was saying like 7 or 8 years ago. And now that's called like woke right. And it's like, well, that's, you know, because it is kind of true, but but the fact is, like, the alt-right was so toxic and terrible. But I didn't want to leave that conspiracy angle, so kind of moving on to the parapolitics, I felt like, and this, so when you're talking about being in a Christian space, when you're, you know, not as Christian as some of the others, it's like me, like, I have a lot of like communist sympathies for the, well, like, and being in this space where everybody's kind of like just almost like a default right-wing communism bad, which I'm not a communist, but it's like I'm sympathetic with a lot of Marx's critiques of capitalism. And why did I bring that up? Well, these guys, this podcast Subliminal Jihad, they did this series on why the Grateful Dead is viewed as this left-wing, you know, these hippies, these radicals, but actually they put this thesis forward that they were actually a right-wing psyop in order to take the power from the left wing, which was about civil rights and anti-war, and just make it all about drugs. And they actually make it an awesome series about it. I mean, it's one of my favorite podcasts ever, and I mean, it's really good. But when I say I have communist sympathies, what I mean is that a lot of the anti-communist hate is just, I mean, I'm not a communist at all, but it's just wanting people to not like advocate for themselves, you know? And hold on a second, sorry. But anyway, I'm sorry for bringing up politics.
I'm just curious what you think of folks who would be inclined to disagree as far as... Like, I don't... There are certain aspects of Marxist critique that I could maybe find compelling, but most of it just does not... I don't know. Doesn't land for me. Because I could go through it at some point, but... I read through the Communist Manifesto, and I was not impressed. Your Gom Jabbar, the Beast is inefficient movement with such weak sauce. I wasn't trying to say that the Beast is inefficient movement. I was trying to say that that's one of the things that you have to master, is to not have inefficient movement. Talking to Grizz in chat. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I feel like I shouldn't even have said I'm a communist sympathizer. Like, people are still, you know...
Here's the thing, as long as you are keen on maintaining good relations, I really don't care what people think, or what they say they think, because... When
I say I'm a communist sympathizer, I'm not saying I'm out marching, or even, like, caring. I'm just saying that, you know, I was, like, in Discord the other day, and the person in there basically told me that they believe that every communist is dishonest. And it's just like, that's what I'm talking about. You know, like, many communists are very sincere. They may be wrong, but I mean, that is the attitude. You know, it's like, oh, if you have any, like, if you try to advocate for the working class as a class, then you are dishonest. But that's all communism is just advocating for the working class. In theory, I know that.
I was about to say, that's not all it
is. In theory, right. I won't get into it. Look, I'm not. Don't shoot me, okay? I'm not a communist.
I'm not trying to shoot you, dude.
So yeah, I haven't even read too much of Marx, but like Lenin in his book Imperialism, the Highest Stage of Capitalism, he basically said that capitalism didn't exist like in 1917. That we were already past the free market and everything was owned by banks, like in the book he wrote then. You know, and now that's just, I mean, that's all. And now 100 years later, it's now the investment companies own the bank, so it's even gone beyond that. So even the whole fight between capitalism and communism doesn't even apply anymore. But I don't even know why I got on this. I always do this. I throw out some political thing and then it gets into that, and I don't even really know that much about it. But I just trigger people, and I never want to, and it's because I think that I'm just going to have some good point to make, and then I don't, you know? I don't really have a good point to make about politics.
Well, it's something that it sounds like you care about, something that you find deeply interesting. Like, it's not nothing. But yeah, especially like saying like, oh, like I'm okay with communism, like that will definitely get you kicked out of the bar in a couple places, so to speak.
Thing is, I've listened to so many really weird communists. You know, and there's actually this movement called MAGA communism.
What?
There's like Trump supporting. Yeah. There's an organization called the ACP, the American Communist Party. It's pretty small, but they're like conservative communists.
Okay.
And yeah, it's kind of because like most of the more successful communist movements have been pretty socially conservative, you know, compared to our like you know, woke left anarchist thing we have going on here, you know? Like the Chinese are pretty conservative,
Yep.
even though they're communists. And so
Nominally communist, at least. I don't know if you can. Their systems are different enough that it's kind of difficult to say what exactly they are, because using the same name for them versus something like the USSR versus Cambodia versus any other number of places that have tried, like. And that's the other thing too, is like names end up becoming kind of an issue in those sorts of discussions, because one single word, like communism, has meant a whole bunch of different things to a whole bunch of different people. And then you also have this notion of capitalism, which I don't know, I know its intention as a derogatory term, but as far as like this notion of ownership of the means of production should be delegated to private individuals, like I don't understand why that is something that is in any way controversial, and why that's something to be like rebelled against. I can understand when you have people who are sort of seizing lots of things, so lots of land, lots of what have you, and in very aggressive ways taking advantage of other people. Like that I can understand having an issue with, but this notion that like, no, I should be able to own the tools in my house, and then all of the, it's weird, like gish-galloping is my perspective of like, well, there's a difference between private property and I forget what the other term is, because it's just it's property is property, and I understand that there's a desire to make a distinction there because it's inconvenient to have there not be a distinction there, but it's just like, I don't know, I do not know how to get past this part. But yeah, it's the nature of productivity is such that it's not really something that you can easily separate from just daily human life, is my main critique. But I haven't really heard anybody raise that. Maybe an old video by some commentator I watched, but it's just not, I don't know. I don't see many people engaging with that stuff in the first place, so. Sorry, what was that?
You said separating production from normal life?
Yep.
Dude, you know what? I wish we could just go back. I originally wanted to know what you thought aliens were.
I mean, we can go back to that if you want.
You know?
Like,
But now we've triggered each other.
No, you haven't triggered me. Have I triggered you?
No, not in a serious way.
Okay.
At all. No, I don't mean that in a heavy way. I'm not triggered.
Okay.
I could go back to aliens, but then talking about production.
How dispatch?
So like, yeah, when Marx was writing, it was the Industrial Revolution, and you know, a couple hundred years before, you have a shoemaker making a shoe. But then in the Industrial Revolution, you have a guy that makes 1,000 buckles a day for shoes.
Yep.
And it was a complete different mode of production. And so I think like the call to communism at that time was like, hey, look, you're already in the factory making it. Just say, we own it now, you know? And they really thought that was gonna that could happen. That was gonna happen.
Yeah,
but
that's not gonna work that way.
Yeah, it didn't happen. It was dumb, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
you can understand the motivation for it.
And you could understand how you could think that was possible.
Yep.
You know, if you like tell these English and German workers like, hey, you're already there. You're already producing it. Just claim it that it's yours. And it's just that easy, and the whole world will do it at the same time. And and it never happened, and now it can never happen that way. But there's this one there's this one essay by Marx where he says like for the ideal life of a man is to uh, hunt in the morning, farm in the afternoon, and philosophize in the evening. And that, I just think about that, how that would be the best life. But anyway, but that is only if you are kind of like, because I believe in the afterlife, so I don't care anymore about that.
I don't think you missed a
I'll go to
demonic
my stupid
possession,
job.
Ron. We're just talking in, we're talking about communism. Light topics only here in the DLC.
Dude, I'm sorry. Raphael.
You're fine, dude. If I didn't want to talk about it, I would have said something. I'm enjoying myself.
No, but I shouldn't be talking about this publicly. Now I'm going to get beat up at Extra.
Nah, you're fine.
I'm going to...
As long as you are good with Kumbaya, then we're good.
Dude,
we're Gucci.
I am not some lefty at all, It just like... I'll end it, and then my whole thing is just like the communist hate is a psyop. I'm not a communist or even a commie push or anything, but it is largely a psyop. That's all I'll say. I'll let. Yeah.
Howdy, Ron. Welcome back.
I'm listening to Mark S. I'm quite enjoying this, to be honest with you.
Told you, Mark.
Seriously, I mean it. Mark, are you there?
Yeah, I'm so sick of hearing myself talk.
Okay, no. So, listen, you talked about communism, but as Kierkegaard is to McMo, possession or exorcism is to me. If you start talking about it, it's like smelling good cooking to me. I'm like, oh, what? I'm sorry, is someone possessed? What? Was Marx possessed? I heard, which one of them, one of the fellas died, and as he was dying, he said he saw wolves coming for him. This could be like urban legend stuff, but like he died, not a happy guy. Do communists? Have you ever heard of a communist dying happy? Like, Christians, you at least hear them at their best are like, yeah, okay, fine, I'm out of here. See you on the other side. We'll have a beer. But communists, you never really hear them going, I'm a communist and that's okay. I'm gonna go die and it's gonna happen anyway. You don't hear them. You don't hear fun communist, I'm going to pass away songs, It's just an observation.
That's true, though.
So I guess what the communists really need, if they want to brand this thing well, is they need some happy end-of-life songs. Something catchy, poppy. I'm Dawkins and I'm dead. Oh, well, I'm going to just work with me, people. We should get
that's like the new song of the revolution, Ron.
And Dawkins is dead, and Marx is dead. Well, Dawkins not dead yet, so that's good. So here's hope for him. Lord,
he's gonna die eventually. Wait, what do you mean there's hope for him?
No. Yeah,
that's what converts at the last minute, you mean?
Well, yeah, that's what happened to my dad. My dad was 96. Wait, how old was he? 93, sorry. He had cancer, and it was a slow move, and my dad saw a demon one day, and he's like, there's a big black thing in the living room. I don't know what it was, but it scared the hell out of me. I'm like, I knew what that was. And not long after that, he started going, he went from like atheist to New Age to agnostic to reading C.S. Lewis, and at the end of his life, he was sneaking to church on Sundays like a kid going to a bar. And I knew about it because I had buddies God had placed a retired Methodist minister in his life and a spirit-filled Catholic as his computer guy. And long story short, I know God did a crazy good work on my dad before he split. So that's what I'd like for Dawkins or anyone else. I mean, you know, maybe before he dies, that would be, get some time to enjoy it before you split. Because people just get so much happier there. It really does make, even if you're no, I don't want to go down that road. I was going to say, even if you're kayfabing it, I mean,
Nah.
No, you don't want to do that. Nope. That doesn't work well at all. But I think like there's this one guy who he owns a coffee shop now. He pretended to be an atheist for a year or something, or for a while, and then it just stuck. Like
interesting.
Forget it. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And he's all into estuary now because he still likes community and philosophy. But why? And I think I've heard of somebody who said they were an atheist, but they faked being Catholic or Christian for a year and it stuck. So it works in reverse as well. Yeah. And so I would, communism, like, dude, what a bummer. Like, at least when I was a Buddhist, you had like the great beyond and the great, they say there's no God, but you're like, well, there's nirvana. That's not a God, but at least you had a target and a goal.
There's a heaven, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, at least there's a total tap. Yeah, there is something to be achieved. But in real communism, like, don't they believe like you're just dirt? You happen to be walking and talking, but you're just dirt. You're going to return to it.
Well, some people believe that eventually we'll be able to live forever, and so we just need to keep advancing science, and eventually we'll reach immortality and possibly even a way to resurrect everyone.
Oh, okay. So there is a mechanical salvation.
From the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me.
Where did that come from? That's pretty good.
That's from Warhammer 40k.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one, but it sounded pretty
good. They're not really a race, a group within that franchise called the Adeptus Mechanicus, which are people who fused themselves with machines.
Oh, wow. Okay,
and nice. They worship a machine god.
Okay,
like
nice.
An actual, I want to say, I haven't actually read the Horus Heresy or any of the other ones. I do need to read that, but... Also, Spatch wants to put a new question on people's security clearances. Excuse me, sir, are you or have you ever been a Universalist?
What's a Universalist? Like, because I hope I don't blow up the internet right now.
No.
But
Ron's touching the hot poker.
Not making.
I've never been a complete Universalist. I don't think I've ever been.
In a nutshell, what is a Universalist?
Somebody who believes that everyone will go to heaven at some point in the future.
Oh, that's almost a Buddhist thing. Mm-hmm. Now, if I may, because I've heard a Buddhist, I studied with a Buddhist teacher named Tim, who's actually, no kidding, a real Buddhist Zen master, blah, blah, blah.
Did someone call him Tim?
Tim, I do. Actually, I think we did, even. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, there's a lot there. But it was, I caught whiffs of that. Oh, there were whiffs of that we all make it to heaven together. Like, we all transcend together. But did you know that in Buddhism, the only people that were considered going to hell, if there was such a thing, were those that were eternally alive. And they chose it. Now, this is from one Zen master, so I don't want to just paint up too broad of a brush. But now that I am on Team Jesus, I'm like, oh, that sounds like the word diametrically opposed comes to mind. So anyhow, I'm sorry, but the universalists is we're all going to make it and it's all going to be good. Is that about it?
Kind of. I think there's different flavors of it, though, is the vibe that I get. And so
There's like,
well, I think that there's kind of the flavor of it that's more of a response to the sort of fire and brimstone preaching that you get from a lot of evangelical churches, and basically saying that, like, I don't want to believe in a God that is willing to condemn his people in that kind of a way. I think that's part of what folks like Brilliant are not a fan of and arguing against.
So, and I'm gonna just make, okay, so so everybody in Auschwitz, the guards and the victims, all make it together. Would that be a fair? And I'm like being sarcastic, but also like, okay, is that the end game for the universalists? And I'm not judging it. I just want to understand.
Mm-hmm. Well, the kind of idea that I have personally is that it's not a guarantee. That it's not a guarantee that everyone makes it to heaven, but that's kind of like the best path, the best ending that the universe could have. Is that all of the people who were choosing the sort of bad path, all, like, as Luke has been saying a bunch of times, every knee shall bow.
Right. Now that's true, including Satan, but it doesn't mean he wants to.
Yeah.
You get in the presence of God, there are no tough guys. If you're a created being, which we all are, you're hitting the dirt, so to speak. But if you're not a created...
What if it is possible for everyone to choose that path?
At the point of revelation, like when you see Jesus face to face, and you're like,
Before,
oh,
during,
my
after
bad.
Revelation. I don't...
Right, no, I
put too
get,
much
okay.
of yeah, it could be at any point within that sort of thing, like, okay, you realize, oh, I messed up. Like, is there a way for you to have penance
redeem
to
yourself.
redeem yourself?
Well, okay. On this one, I think I would go Protestant sola scriptura-ish for 200, just because what are the rules that we've been given so far that describe...
What if that was a real category on Jeopardy? Sola scriptura-ish for 2.
This would be... You heard it here, folks.
Someone needs to make a TLC game show.
I'll go for Apocrypha for 200. So, all right, how did we get on this? Because of communism. And it was, I'm not looking at the chats yet. It was, who said about, it was a security code or path?
Spatch put a comment in the chat saying, are you or have you ever been a universalist? And I was saying, it's like, in the same way that whether you were affiliated with communists used to be on a security clearance questionnaire, that would be like a TLC security clearance questionnaire. Are you or have you ever been a universalist?
Who is it? Who are universalists in the house? Is it you?
Grail Country.
Grail Country. The Luke Thompson,
really?
I think Nate as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to go around naming names, but yeah, basically...
No. This is not for
basically
slander.
Grail Country.
We're making a list. We're checking it twice. We're gonna find out who's a universalist and an infernalist.
But who is it?
I'm a hopeful infernalist.
Infernalist? Oh no.
You know, people say they're a hopeful universalist anyway.
Yeah. No, I want to see. There's some good jokes there. So anyhow, okay. So the universalists are. So I guess how do you square that circle with Jesus when he goes, at least for us, it seems on this side of eternity, you have yes, no kind of moments. Like, are you with Jesus? Are you not? And it's, and actually and I guess, okay, I have to go subjective. For me is like, I met him and I'm like, oh, you don't want to not know him because one, he's really good guy, good to be hanging around with, and then, but not being in his presence, it's funny, is it's not even like you get sent somewhere bad, it's just his absence is a bummer.
Yep.
So I
would replace God with Jesus in that particular instance, but I'm on the same page.
Oh yeah, no. I would say that yes. For me, God is Jesus. So, but just so I can throw a little heresy into here just for fun, or maybe not heresy. Like when I met him, for me, it's difficult to separate God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. It reminds, the best I can explain it is, if we are now in time, we continually live in the present. We always have the future before us and the past behind us. It's one time, but there seems to be, we cordoned off three ideas of it, but yet it's all one. And that's my trip on time. They're like, so I don't know what that makes me. But the whole Trinity or unit, one person, it doesn't matter to me. It's just more like, okay, are we cool? Let's start. And I want to be careful because I don't.
Well, that's kind of
I don't really know.
Well, that's my perspective too. Is like, I don't know, like, I understand that there is a degree to which, whether you are an infernalist or a universalist, it will change your behavior. It will change how you interact with other people. But as a general rule, I think that there shouldn't be too many instances of that sort of difference in behavior. That most people who are trying to follow the path of Jesus, who are trying to do their best in the world, that regardless of what they believe will happen to everyone after the fact, but I don't know, it's frustrating to me because it's like, why is this the cause for so much strife or so much ire between people? It's like,
can I give you my opinion on I don't know how this is gonna sound, but those that really lack love, I think, fight the most.
okay,
So if you have an idea but you have love, and let's say I meet somebody who's just thinking some sort of, not diametrically opposed to me, but just maybe at a right angle or something like that. Just not, but if you have genuine love in your heart, you'll disagree, but you'll dialogue.
Yeah.
Whereas I've met people who are, it's just what I'm seeing. There just seems to be something emotional that is, you're going to see it in your actions and your words. Words first and actions second. And I think the love I'm talking about is the God love. Because if you genuinely have it, you're able to really deal with quite a bit negative stuff. And I think it also lends itself for people getting along. So, the whole theology thing, I've met some anyhow before I start telling war stories like the corner. I'm like, let's just leave. I'd rather look at the light than go talk about the darkness and the conflict. So the universalist. No. So, and this is from a Christian perspective. You think everyone's going to make it? That's what they're saying?
Yep.
Okay, I do have a problem with that. You know, it's
Well, do you
so
mind
the
if I give
question
my
yeah.
personal take
Oh,
on?
please.
Because that's kind of, I think that's the possibility. Like that's the good ending, so to speak. But I also think that a lot of those paths to heaven dip very deep down into hell.
Are we talking about other gods? Like, do you understand? Like, are we talking about other than Jesus? Are we talking about Buddha, Muhammad,
No, not really.
Krishna? Okay, I'm just asking. So, what are you thinking?
Well, what I mean by that is that, like, I think that, like, if you have somebody who is a murderer, for instance, and they go to hell as a consequence of the damage that they did both to themselves and to the people around them.
Right. Okay.
There is a possibility, there is an opportunity for them to arc back towards heaven, in my cosmology, my understanding of the way that cosmology works. But that doesn't mean that they are guaranteed to, and that also, I don't know, I get the sense that the more likely outcome is that there are those who will either stagnate at a particular level of hell, or who will dive as deep as they possibly can go.
Okay. All right. So are you a universalist?
I would say I am somebody who believes that universalism is the potential good ending, but that as much as I hope for it, I have seen too many instances of people being unsalvageable to, like, if it is possible, it is not on a time scale that I am familiar with. Put it that way.
What do you mean I didn't understand that?
If it's possible for people to exit hell and come back to heaven, then it's the time scale for that kind of an opportunity is longer than I have seen for most people.
Okay.
Like, I don't even know if you can do it within a single human life. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. So what is the? Okay. Yeah.
If I can say something real fast, as you were talking just there, Afro, I hope it's fast. Sorry,
You're fine.
because something just occurred to me is that, like, I believe I need Jesus to go to heaven, whether or not, however long hell lasts or whatever. But so in this life, if we're given the gift of metanoia, of repentance, like many are called, few are chosen, right? Like, to have repentance is almost a gift, because a lot of my life I don't even know how to repent.
Yep.
I don't even know that I need to repent, and then all of a sudden I'm able to, like, and that's a gift. And so I wonder if after I'm dead, because you're saying, like, okay, they go so far, and it's like, after I'm dead, is there something that's cosmologically, like, I can't have that gift of repentance anymore? I'm not trying to argue for infernalism or whatever, but it just,
I mean, you're allowed to. Like,
yeah,
it's not prohibited.
Well,
Can I give you a parable to answer your question?
But I have to, like, it's like, that's, I read the Bible a good bit, but I admit I don't know it. So in a lot of sense, I just got to trust what the consensus is. And that's kind of been the consensus of the church. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to cast it off. It's a possibility. And for me, it's, and so, because even me, like, I still have unforgiveness and resentment in my heart that I hope to be burned off before I'm dead, that I know it's wrong, but I haven't been given the gift of it being lifted completely. And And so, but it's like I've made great progress in this life, and I wonder, what if after a judgment, then I am put in this place, my resentment will do nothing but grow, possibly, to a point to where it's just impossible for me to even separate myself from that anger and resentment. I mean, just think about being in a place where you can't get out of your rage. You can't do it. Like, I mean, that would really suck. And like, I sort of look at it like Abraham, God told him to do this crazy thing, and he just he was willing to do it, but in the end it turned out different. And I'm not saying it's going to turn out different, but I just think that I don't fully get it. And also I feel like, me saying that I know how God is going to forgive everyone's sin, that's me saying that I understand everyone's sin, and I don't. Like, I've caught glimpses of my black heart on rare occasions, and it's so disgusting that I just try to only look at it when necessary, and maybe it's like, do I really know how bad sin is? I don't think I do, and I kind of don't want to. I just want to be forgiven of it and live. Anyway,
part of the process.
On that happy note.
No. Also, Ron, I think you had a parable at some point, but
yeah, I did. Listen, I'm learning how to keep my mouth shut. So, Marquez, I liked what you had to say, and I am going to defer to my colleague Afriel, please, because it sounds like you have a thought. Go for it.
I think that you won't necessarily understand the sin, but you definitely, I think you can understand it well enough from the outside to choose not to. Like, one of the things that was stuck in my memory of a previous conversation that Ron and I had on stream was, you don't have to have gone through being a heroin addict to find Jesus.
Bingo.
Like, you can see how bad of a time that the people who are engaging in a particular sin are having, and then say, yeah, I'll pass on that one. And that's honestly the preferred option. The hard part,
I wish you would have told me that when I was younger.
It's back real stuff.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I think that's... But once you have... I don't think you can get away from never making yourself aware of the sin. And that goes both for engaging in it and also not engaging in it. I think that there is a level that you have to become aware of the thing in order to... Especially like if you are trying not to sin, there is a level of awareness that you have to achieve with that, because there are a lot of sins that it is very easy to fall into without meaning to. And then as a consequence of that, you end up, there's sins where you can say to yourself, oh, I would never do that, I will never do that. And then you find yourself doing that very thing that you promised yourself that you would never do. Like, a lot of people, I think, find that for, like, cheating on their spouses, for instance. I think they promise themselves, like, oh, I would never do that. I can never understand why someone would ever engage in that kind of behavior. And then a couple years down the road, and their marriage isn't going so good, and they're feeling kind of lonely one night, and the girl in the office that's been kind of nice to them comes up and says, hey, do you want to go out and get a beer? And the only reason that I have as much confidence that my wife and I mutually have as much confidence as we do in each other is because we talked about that kind of stuff early in our relationship of like, hey, like this is a possibility that we would potentially have to face of one of us being unfaithful to the other, and like let's promise each other that if and when we encounter something like that we'll talk to each other about it rather than just continuing to let that fester. So I think you have to have an awareness of the sin, regardless of whether, yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, yes, and but that's kind of what I was trying to get at. I think from what you were originally saying, I think you're kind of building on what you were talking about before I butted in, and that kind of, like thinking about hell. What if you're at a spot where you can't even, because you almost have to separate yourself from the sin, like acknowledge a possible another part of yourself in order to like see the sin.
Well, here's a question.
But what if there's,
if you were in hell right now, how would you know?
Sola Scriptura.
What?
For 200? Sorry.
Go for it.
No. Well, that one, I would just say everyone, from what I've read and experienced, everyone who knows they're around God feels it, knows it, and likes it. Mm-hmm. Everyone in hell feels it, knows it, and doesn't like it. It's one of the few self-evident things, I think. That might be in any religion. I don't think there's any religion that goes, excuse me, you're now entering hell. Mm-hmm. Just want to let you know.
There's a big sign. It's like one of those, like, you're crossing state boundary kind of signs. It's like, welcome to Mississippi.
Yeah, but I think just that one isn't quite like, how do you know you're... Okay, so let's say, because what was your... What are you aiming at on that one? Because I didn't quite...
I don't think that you would be... there was absolutely a chance that you would be unaware of what your actual surroundings were. That you would be... If you were in heaven, or if you were in hell, you would not necessarily know it until you were able to get some sort of greater vantage point. That's my suspicion.
Like, well, on that one...
Let me put it this way to you, Ron. I've had myself rug pulled a couple of times by things in my life that have grossly changed my perception of organizations that I was participating in and people that I thought I had trusted.
Okay. I'm listening. I like that. I mean, I'm tracking. So what does that... And because I'm not tracking, like so you've had great pain.
Yes.
Okay. So how does that relate to heaven and hell and knowing it then?
Because I didn't know that I was in a sort of hell. That I like, one of the ways that I've kind of internalized that experience was that I was in a sort of hell that I did not know was a hell at the time. At least not until later on in that experience. Then I was like, oh, that's who these people are. And they've always been this way, and I just didn't see it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I'm tracking. Gotcha. Because we're talking about knowing sin, is that right? And knowing our sin, and is it a chance for repenting from it?
And also, when are those chances only granted? Is this the only shot you get?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! Do you know? Okay, so this is going to go. I am going to now. Well, Mark asked before I ramble on. What do you think?
Sorry, man. I'm texting my landlord. I kind of zoned out for a second.
Oh, you're fine. So, all right, listen. So I'm gonna kind of, dude. As far as I want to be, all right. I'm gonna give you a story that actually happened a few different times. This actually might support your statement, but it's going to be a very Jesus-based story.
Okay.
I've helped and talked with a lot of people who come off drugs because that's my test. That's my path. So they're, it's almost like, so how did you meet Jesus? So in these meetings, I'll give you two different stories, maybe three. So this lady's on drugs and she dies. She says she was still conscious, and this is not an educated lady. And she's not even church lady. She goes, I was in a darkest place I'd ever been. It was so dark and thick you can almost move it like you would a curtain. And I'm like, and she goes, I was there, and then it was so poetic and beautiful. She goes, and then the smallest light you could ever imagine I could see came to me from the other side of eternity. And then it got closer to me. And then she goes like, I forget how she said it was like 7 times brighter than the sun, or, just like,
Yep.
She was getting real. And then she goes, I don't know if she had a choice, but then she came back. And so now, then there was another fella at my church. He OD'd. He goes, when he OD'd, it was like someone unzipped his body and his spirit popped out. And I think he goes back he meets Jesus. They have a chat. He kind of gets ironed out. And then Jesus stuffs him back in his body. And then the third one was when he OD'd. He was in outer darkness. The funny thing is, he goes, when I was there, I knew I deserved to be there. And then I think Jesus shows up. Do you want a second chance kind of moment? He's like, yeah. And then Jesus sends him back. So this is me talking late night, very cautiously, where it seems like, in my opinion, just from my limited experience, there are possible moments of choice on the other side. And so, did I throw in enough, maybe, caveats there, like, but be honest with you, dude, not to push it, but he seems to, there's a liminal space between dead and alive. So it's like mostly dead.
When they're all dead, there's only one thing you can do.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll be honest, it's a space that I wouldn't want anyone to mess with.
No.
And I don't know if there's, like in the book of Maccabees, the apocryphal text, there is, Maccabee, he has a war, some of his guys die, and they have foreign god fetishes on them, which could be a real problem. And so he prays for them, and so that God would have mercy on them. And it seems like he was expecting some sort of effectiveness from his prayers, which I think is where you pray for those that have died comes from. I'm not saying I'm getting into muddy waters where I will not say pray for the dead, but I I've had enough experience to say, just because you're dead doesn't. There's something. One, there's absolutely. This life is not just you're dead and that's it. Lights off. There's more. I don't know how far mercy extends into it. I think there might be, maybe, some mercy on the other side. Not gonna say there isn't, but I won't say there is. But on this side, for me, I don't know what you would call me, an infernalist or whatever. Because I've met him, and oh, by the way, that heaven hell thing you were talking about. Okay, so but because I met him, I don't want to mess with him. I don't want to tell anyone else to mess with him. This side is where it's a live fire test, and so choose wisely. You know, it's God, I just derailed myself because I took an easy out on that conversation.
I mean, it's
okay.
I forget, were you part of the roguelikes and reincarnation stream that I did back a while back?
Which one was it called?
Roguelikes and reincarnation.
I don't think so.
Okay. Because that's kind of the mental model that I've exacted on, is like, if reincarnation is real, then life is probably kind of like a roguelike, where you're supposed to make the best use out of each run that you get the opportunity to play. Like, it doesn't make sense for you to not treat each life seriously, because the whole point is playing the game seriously. So you there are people who, when they're playing certain roguelike games, will do the sort of like GG go next, like good game, go next game, because this one's already clearly lost, so there's no point in trying on it anymore. And like, that's not a good attitude to have. You won't actually learn, you won't actually get better.
Okay, actually, the funny thing is, if I were to map that onto this world, I'd say, okay, then let Jesus be your example.
Yep.
Well, if that's,
I'm good with that.
Okay, that's funny. I like it. Oh, by the way, I'm going to seriously rabbit trail just for a split second. Mark S., forgiveness is not about a feeling, it is by faith. I've had to do it. You say, to the axe murderer who destroyed my family, by faith.
Jeez, Ron, you've had a really interesting life.
I know, listen, a lot of bar fights. It's mostly Cece's fault, but...
She keeps getting you into them. She just can't keep her mouth shut.
I'm telling you, listen, yeah, well, there's other stories, but until they're completely redacted, we'll have to just keep that hush-hush.
Statute of limitations and all that.
Right. So forgiveness is not a feeling, because I actually did this. It's a word first, and then what I will say is like, Father, let me see them as you see them, which is... And then you just repeat it until it kicks in. But anyhow, sorry. That's just my unsolicited opinion on how to fix someone and unforgiveness.
I hear you. I've just been trying, more mercy. More mercy is like almost a mantra. Not a mantra, but just like, that I've been just trying to think about, because even like extending forgiveness, some would say that you can't actually forgive someone until they ask for forgiveness. I don't hold that. However, I think there's something to that.
Yep.
However, you can extend mercy to people.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
No, I like that. And the reason it's Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. That's the end game.
Right.
Yeah, that's the atomic bomb of grace.
The thing for me, I think that there is, and I've actually talked with somebody who's going to be a Midwestuary, so I'll be curious if we can have the rest of this conversation at some point. because I'm kind of in Mark S's camp with this, that forgiveness is actually two words that have been combined into a single word, where there is the letting go of resentment, and then there is the actual, almost like a consecration of your mistake is basically as though it never existed. And that those are two, like, my contention is that those are two different things. This other guy's contention is that no, they are the same thing, that you can't separate them. I don't know, I'm not convinced.
Can you get my brain? No, help my brain a little bit, because let me tell you where I'm at, and then help me understand where you're at. Forgiveness has nothing to do with them asking it for it.
Okay.
They could be, yeah, it does. Jesus on the cross is my example I'm using as they are killing him.
I don't think that their sin can be wiped clean unless they repent.
No. This is not about them.
Okay.
I'm talking about us.
Okay.
We're the one taking the hit.
Okay.
We're the one on the cross. Our judgment is not just remitted because we forgive them. It is our heart is transformed because we forgive them. Because what it is we stay in that love, and it has nothing to do with them asking for it. Just the opposite. We give it freely because we received it. And it's so that's my thing is if they don't ask, and even if they're enjoying it being evil, you know, they're just like, he's dying, great, love it. And because that's what they were doing. And when you forgive, what it is it keeps you in the right relationship with God, because we are in eternity, and you stay in a good relationship with God throughout eternity. And I know there's got to be, it does affect them somehow. I'm not sure. Our forgiveness, probably a lot more than we understand.
Yes. That I would agree.
Okay. So, but
I don't.
Okay. So,
I think so. Again, the point that I would make is that I think that you're using the same word forgiveness for two different things.
Oh, okay. I'm listening.
So there's the letting go of resentment, that you harden not your heart towards the person who has wronged you. But until they repent of their sin, you can't actually wipe their sin, wipe the slate clean for them. They have.
No. I never. Okay, I got you. I'm tracking now. I never intended to do that.
Okay.
That's not my. No. I'm leaving their slate. Their slate is there. We only get judged for ourselves. Period. We don't get judged for anyone else. And I know our prayers might help them, but really judgment's just one by one. So was I sounding like I was remitting their sin or something?
Well, that's what I get the impression of. How do I describe it? It's that the problem that I see a lot of times is that I think that you absolutely should let go of the resentment that you could be holding in your heart against somebody who wronged you, but you should not reincorporate them into your life in the same way as though they had not sinned until they have repented. And that's
I got you.
So when someone says forgive them, that is what they're implying a lot of times. Is like you should just ignore the fact that they did the wrong thing and assume that they'll never do it again.
Okay, that's a different word. That's called reconciliation. Forgiveness. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There it is. That's now we got.
So it is two different words. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So, all right. Forgiveness is me dropping my sword.
Okay.
Reconciliation is me extending my hand for a handshake. Two different things. Okay. So there's.
So the mistake that I see people making is that they are confusing, or they're jumping to reconciliation, or assuming
Yes.
that they're being told to reconcile with the.
Okay.
That's interesting.
And then I'll go one. Okay. And to be honest with you, a lot of times they should not try to reconcile until they have repented
from the other person. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. So yeah, you're right though. I'll be honest with you. Forgiveness has really been poorly presented in a spiritually. I mean, dude, it took me a long time to find out some good people to talk to me. And because I always thought, well, if you forgave, well, you have to go back to the ex-murderer and say, you know, and like, you want to go have a beer. And it's like, no, they're an ex-murderer. Just run away, forgive them, and eat feet.
But that's when you're saying forgiveness. It is just that letting go of the resentment in your heart, and then giving them the benefit of that, not reconciling with them. Interesting.
Yes, it's you're turning them over to God for judgment,
rather than to seek judgment for yourself or seeking judgment from someone.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
yes.
Sola Scriptura for 2000, which is, you know, in the story of Stephen, he's getting stoned. Everybody must get stoned. And right, I would guess he probably already took a couple of rocks to the dome. You know, and he says, please do not hold this sin against him. And then he died. Of course, it's like reminiscent of Christ saying, "Forgive them; they know not what they do." And one thing about that is neither of them are saying, "I forgive you for killing me." They're asking God to forgive me. I think there's something to that.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yes, exactly. Okay, you know, that's a good.
I don't know exactly what it even means, but it's.
No, I think you nailed it. I think because you're petitioning. I think I can't pronounce the right. You're asking God, don't hold this against them.
Well, I think it's also a recognition that the sin that they are committing against God is far worse than the sin they are committing against you by stoning you to death.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
That's a humble point of view. If you're able to take that,
that's pretty good. Wow. You know, that actually would help me take offense a lot better, because it's like when they're hurting me, they're actually hurting God or offending God. And I should be concerned for them because they're so blind, they don't know what they're doing. I never thought of that one.
You just gotta be careful not to get too narcissistic with that.
No,
because there's a danger there.
No, because that's but I'm talking about mercy. To understand, it's a better. Just for a split second, I think I got a better understanding of mercy. You know, that's why the machine's still operating the same in me, but maybe a refinement of understanding why it's in place. You know, why is because they're not just hurting me, they're hurting themselves.
Yes.
Because how did you say that? Because they're offending God. Yep. And so it's my job to, if I can truly understand it, that means I truly can love, because God is love. And so in some way you're actually aligning yourself with love, and love cares even for those that are wronging it.
Yes.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
This is a PvP server, and that means that not only can other people hurt whoever they want to, I can help whoever I want to, and they don't get to say a damn thing spoiler-wise about it.
They don't get to say a damn thing about it. That's hilarious. That's in
Put
the
that on the
kingdom of
t-shirt.
heaven. Somebody just had Coke come out their nose in heaven. They're like, okay.
They have Coca-Cola in heaven? It's the old formula, right? It's not the new stuff?
Or milk, one of the two. Yeah, Coke or milk. It's like that. That's
I got
a
to
big.
take off. So it was good talking.
There's one more.
One of these
Yes.
days, one of these days we got to talk about what aliens were.
Okay.
Oh,
Extreme.
dude. Okay.
3 weeks.
Oh, Nephilim. Yes, aliens, Nephilim. We should have some fun.
You know what? You just triggered me wrong. I actually read an essay by this guy from the 1800s. He was like this great theologian about the demons, and he makes a pretty good case that demons are actually just the souls of dead men. And look, here's the thing. So I guess I'm not going to bed.
We're doing it now.
Well, we got either they're fallen angels, or they're Nephilim, or they're dead men, right? And he makes a pretty good case. Now, I don't know. I don't know what the heck they are. But I will tell you, out of all those things, demons just being regular old dead men is the creepiest one to me. For whatever reason.
Have you ever watched the show Supernatural?
No, I haven't.
So one of the ideas, and I don't think it's original to them, but that's the place I first became familiar with it, is that a lot of demons are dead men, and then there are also more like primordial evils that also exist. So it's like this mixture of different.
Well,
Sure.
okay, I'm going to push back on this lightly.
Yep.
But then where did angels come from?
Where did the what come from?
Angels.
They're aliens.
Oh.
No.
I want something.
Do you think that aliens are angels?
I think they're demons.
I think they're both.
I think they're some.
I think there
That's
are
interesting.
good guys and bad guys, and that they are both trying to
I see.
execute their service, so to speak, on this earth.
You know, when I was listening to a lot of weird podcasts, I've tried to find this, and I can't remember what it was and who the guy was. But it was a fascinating UFO podcast where there was a researcher who was a born-again Christian, and he said that one of the things that I think it was something that contributed to his conversion, or it was sometime around that, was he was in like the main UFO abduction research community, and he realized that none of the abductees and almost none of the quote-unquote experiencers were devout Christians. And he asked the researchers, and they said, yeah, we've all known this, we don't really think or talk about it.
Yeah.
And he said he had, you know, since he'd converted, I don't remember if he had seen something before that, but, and I always found that fascinating. And so kind of my view is that aliens, Bigfoot, ghosts are all the same thing, and that people just see, it's like they work with people's imaginations to take different forms, and that's my theory, but I don't know, of course, you know?
Well, but I'm not too offended. I think, okay, let's just go with this. The imagination is the point of contact, one of the major point of contacts God uses to communicate with us, as well as the bad guys. So it really wouldn't matter. I'm cutting you. I'm like, this is not my position, but I can
see where we're
kind
coming
of see it. Yeah, no, because actually, that's where I don't want to get in the weeds on this, but you can show up however you want. It's just, okay, the nature of your mission would be clear by the fruit it bears. No, not what you look like, but what your end game is.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, okay, I have a question for you guys, both of you. Maybe more Mark-esque, because this is a, theologically speaking, from what I understand, as a Christian, it's the being with Jesus really doesn't mean you have to have great theology to be saved or to be with him. I'm not saying be sloppy and don't care, but from what I understand, that's not one of the things we get judged on as far as things we get judged on. Am I right or wrong on this?
I was actually just thinking about this today because, like, sometimes the TLC theology discussions are just like, I can't listen. It's just, it's just kind of boring. And I listened to this theologian yesterday who was like talking about how, like, Thomas Aquinas, and I don't know, I'm not a theologian, I don't know that much about theology, but he's talking about how Thomas Aquinas, like, used Aristotle to just deduce all the things that God is, and the way that, like, theologians study just God. And then I have this book about the incarnation and why Jesus is God. And it's like, when it comes to theology stuff, like, not being about all these debates and arguments, like, just using it to get closer to God is good, I think that, and it's like in Philippians, like in Philippians, Paul says, whatever is good, whatever is just, whatever is lovely, so on and so on. Think about these things. He doesn't say like, think about doctrines and all these things all the time, And then also he says, I didn't come to you with wise words. I came to you preaching nothing but Christ crucified.
Right.
So, and Paul did know a lot of stuff. He was pretty well educated. But he's saying, like, I had this simple thing. So, yeah, I agree that, like, we're called to faith,
So,
that being said, I do think that there's definitely wrong theology.
Right. No, and I'm not saying this is what I'm trying to get at is, from what I understand, for Team Jesus, it's two things exclusively. Love God with your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yep.
If you do those, if you work on those two things diligently, then you're okay. And then this is where I'll say it cautiously, even if you have totally whacked out theology. Or maybe not totally whacked out, but just janky. Does that make sense what I'm saying? And how does that flow?
With me, the way I was raised, deep in the Bible, on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, I don't know, it's like, I can't completely affirm that, because it's like one of those things where I open my Bible and Jesus says, all who seek will find. That's what he says, And so it's like, okay, so it's not that complicated, And then, you open your Bible another day and it's like, many will seek and few will find, And so it's like, on a certain sense, we're supposed to have, like, assurance and like total faith, but on the other hand, there's always this, like, I just can't be too sure I actually need to, like, strive towards, I tend to think that there are some theological things that I would not do without, you know.
Sure.
Like,
Okay. I can respect
yeah.
that. I this is one of those not too critical things in my mind, but not to be trifled with either. And I think there might be a lot more wiggle room, for lack of a better word, in this area.
I hope so. I came from a tradition where we know the formula and we know how to do it right, and we know, and there is a lot to that. However, at the same time, it's like one of the reasons that I didn't stick around is because I knew people that knew the formula of how to get to heaven straight and narrow, but with that all your heart, I didn't really see that.
Yep.
I'm not trying to talk trash. Just looking back, it's I was a kid and I didn't even know that. And now looking back, it's like, oh, it makes sense why I didn't want to do that,
Gotcha.
And,
right.
And so, the theology is important, but you have the law and the heart is probably more important.
Oh, dude, I know. Listen,
the fact is my heart is corrupt.
Well, but also, okay. So first off, this is just my absolute opinion, but I will. This is a hill I will die on. It is about our heart, and as much as our hearts, yes, in the past they're corrupt. I need to let people know, in my opinion, again, how we have the ability to understand original goodness, and they don't stay corrupt all the time. And I wish I could explain this better, but I'll just say when His Spirit comes into our hearts and His Spirit bears witness with ours, we're not just rotten kids always sinning. We're beloved children being restored.
Oh, 100%. I'm with you.
Okay.
Cool. I'm with you on that one.
Okay, cool. Because it makes a difference. Yeah. And it's just not like we're not being. What's the guys who go, we're not worthy? It was the spoof movie. Not Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's the other one. Mike Myers, and
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, yeah. We're like, we're not worthy. It's just the opposite. Is we are redeemed and beloved, and that makes a difference in how you see yourself and how you see God. It's like, oh, He likes us. You want to know how much He likes you? Stick your hands out like a cross. He likes you this much. And, it's like, rejoice. You got a good day. So, he likes, Mikey, he likes you. So anyhow, I'm a hyper optimist. You have no idea. It's like, and this is something I can't prove it, but I know people who have, it sounds so weird, they've raised the dead. Just, his name's Brian O'Donnell. He does inner city ministry. A guy he was visiting a drug dealer. He was ministering to him. Somebody died on the porch. Long story short, Brian prayed for him. He came back. The guy flipped out, ran away. But anyhow, my point is, even death itself is being conquered, and it's difficult to believe because bad news travels slow. But I actually just had a healing at my church. A veteran came to visit just by accident, and I was there with somebody else, and we prayed for him, and God healed his knee. But the biggest thing, to be honest, with this veteran is when we were there praying, we looked at him and go, hey, would you like Jesus to, because he had PTSD, would you like Jesus to do for your heart what he just did for your knee? And long story short, God came in there and did his thing, made him a happy guy. I wish I can show you it, and I don't know how it sounds because it, you can't see it or experience it, but I will just say, from my experience, God is in a good mood and he's on our side in this. If you can get that in your head, or even dip your toe into those waters with that, knowing that there are no alligators or sharks in the water, it makes it easier to move towards him and allow him to move towards you. How's that sound?
Yeah, I agree, man. Like how I was raised, like I was taught all the Bible stories when I was a kid, and I was taught all the rules, and it was kind of this thing of like, well, if you just tell them the rules and you tell them the consequences, they'll do the right thing, right?
No.
And so, and it's like, so when I left, I had a lot of trouble, and then I like end up getting sober, trying to clean up my life and doing meditation, and then having some like mystical experiences in meditation, and also with the 12 steps I would call it a spiritual, not a mystical experience, because it was actually just humbling. But anyway, I have a kind of couple mystical experiences with meditation, and it's like, well, this is way better than any Christianity I ever knew, because Christianity was just like, read the scriptures and then God is awaiting you on Judgment Day, And so when I was like, it took me a long time when I felt like I was being nudged back to Christ, because I'm like, well, I don't want to give up this more like imminent experiential spirituality I have. It's like, I feel like when I pray, my prayers are answered, and in the Christianity that I knew, it's like, God's in heaven, the Holy Spirit, you can't feel the Holy Spirit, you can't, blah blah blah. That's kind of the stuff I was taught, and now, like, I don't know, but well, just to say that even after years, like, the meditation didn't really give me that excitement. It's more the mystical aspect was just kind of like, it felt good to do the meditation practice, but now it's like, I don't know, the contemplative part of Christianity and the actual experiential part, like, since I've been back, I haven't had any unexplainable supernatural experiences, but I have had so many encounters, to use the Ron Copperman word, like, in my imagination, to where it's like, I'm not a very visual person. Like, I can't explain visual stuff. I'm more of a sound auditory person. But there's been times when I've been in trouble where I have these visions that were of, like, Jesus. Like, I was having some pretty bad, like a couple weeks ago, I was having some pretty bad obsessive thoughts. I've been diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. And I was having some pretty bad thoughts, like these imaginary crazy thoughts that I couldn't control. And then all of a sudden, in my imagination, and it was in my imagination, I'm not saying this really happened, but out of nowhere, God was just there, like, in the room. And I don't know if it was God or Jesus or an angel, but it was like a representative of heaven was there in this place where I was afraid. And it was like, I didn't know that was coming. I didn't, I didn't ask for that to happen. It was just there, and all of a sudden, that thing was just taken care of. It was like, it's like that stuff happens, and I feel like it's greater than the mysticism, you know, in a way. It is a type of mysticism, but at the same time, it's I don't know. It's different, but it's better, and
Right.
it's almost not mysticism, but it is. Like, you know, like every now and then I just, because the the view, like the Buddhist view of God would be that, well, it's just this like ground of consciousness, or like a Hindu, like it's just like this ground of consciousness of light, but it's almost like an impersonal, eternal beingness or something like that. But with the God of the Bible, it's like, no, he is personal. You know, it's like in paganism, the gods live within like the Platonic divine realm. It's almost like they're subject to divinity. But in Christianity, God is behind everything. Rather, you know what I mean? Like there's a person behind everything. And this book I was just reading, the guy was saying that, like, you know, God isn't held up by anything. God is holding everything. You know, it's like there's nothing that precedes God. I know we know all these things, but just like having a view of God as a personal, eternal, good being that is constantly looking at our hearts is so much, to me, it's so much more powerful than, I don't know, like just an impersonal, you know, ground of being or something like that. You know?
Right.
And I probably should have just gone to bed.
Well, I tell you what, I tell you what, this has been fun because I'm about to tap out too. No, this was good for me because, like, yeah, this is gonna sound weird, maybe not. Like, yeah, I saw a healing today, and a guy got his heart healed, and that's great. But here's the thing: right after that, at church, somebody came at me like real hard, improperly, just with a comment, and I see this not as a law, but as something familiar. It's like when you make forward progress, don't be surprised when you have opposition. And in me, when I have offense in my heart, like I'll get a ringing in my ear, like it gets bad. And it's more so, it's almost like I attract, it's either a physical ailment getting triggered or it's a demon. At this point, I don't care which one it is, they both suck. And so having this kind of conversation, like I did the whole forgiveness and the worship was great, but I've been chewing on it and having good conversations like this. This is a good conversation. This is a godly conversation. These are the kind of ones where you leave feeling better. And it's just it's like being at a party. You're like, okay, I don't want to go home, but eventually all good parties come to an end. And that's okay. But see, for me, I've been able to process like this thing today that happened. Like the way it works is, Lord, in the name of Jesus, for this dude who came at me wrong. Maybe it's my perception of what he said as an offense, or maybe even meant it, probably did. Lord, I need to just suck it up and forgive him and really mean it. And so by faith, I do. Now change my heart and let me see him as you see him. And Lord, I feel your grace now. I feel your presence. I feel your love. That's better than in this conversation, like, forgive him, because he doesn't even know what he's doing. That means there's a deficit in his heart that I should be more concerned than the offense that's the hurt that's happening in mine, because he doesn't even know he's doing it. So Lord, have mercy on him. Lord, bless Mark S. so that he gets sleep, even if it's shorter in hours, it's more quality in as it's happening. For his forgiveness thing, it's by faith. And Lord, that let him just walk it out in faith and not look for feelings. But if I help his feelings, why not? I can pray that. I'm allowed. Lord, I pray over Mark S.'s feelings that you minister to him and help him in his life. He's been both Afril and Mark S. have been good friends, and I enjoy their company. They have blessed me. Lord, you said you bless those that bless you and curse those that curse you. Well, they're blessing me, and as they bless me, they bless you. So help them out. For Afril, Lord, just reveal your goodness to him, and the questions he has, that you would answer them, and the good things that you have for him that he might not even know are coming his way, that you line him up, him and his family, that you bless and keep them, and go before them, and that your joy would be his strength. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I like, Ron, how all of a sudden I'm listening to you talking and I just realized that somewhere along the line you started praying.
I know, I just dropped it. I'm like, I'm like, don't
That's awesome.
care.
That's awesome, because that probably means that you just pray all the time. It's part of your, it's probably just part of your life.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not difficult. It's like cussing, but in reverse.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like my heart is corrupt, just like I become aware of it just so I can pray. It just helps me to pray more.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm not trying to downplay myself, but yeah, man. Yeah, it was great talking to you, both of you guys. Thanks, Afriel, for having a place to hang out.
Of course.
And yeah.
Afriel, dude, it's been fun, and I will see you, sir, in Chicago.
1 week.
1 week, dude. It's gonna be a party. It's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be fun. I have no idea. Oh yeah, dude. It's game on. You know what the only problem is? None of us are gonna get any sleep. It's gonna be awesome.
No, we're gonna be up into the wee hours of the morning for every single one of those days. So.
I know. I'm not going to be drinking, but I'm going to feel like I have a hangover. And I'm like, at least I was a hippie and I'll know how to deal with it.
Well, I'm one of the estuary leaders, so I have the responsibility to at least be somewhat coherent. So we'll.
Oh well, I'm just talking about sleep patterns.
I know, but like I will probably still have to excuse myself rather than staying up as late as I did at the campsite for Northwestuary.
Oh, okay. All right, good. You know what? That actually might help keep me out of trouble.
Come on, Ron. It's bedtime. Let's go. Come on, jump.
Oh, dude. The only thing is I get up crazy early. And so, but I hope that can work out, because then I can just go pray and go find some woods to walk in. And, because there's an hour difference between Indiana and Chicago area. So I usually get up at 5 in the morning. So that'd be 4 Chicago. So I'm like, I am not going to disturb anybody at 4, but I'm going to try to start staying up later, like tonight, and just try to get a time shift in so that I'm not a total zombie. And if I'm a zombie, whatever, I'll suck it up and I'll just close my eyes and I'll tell everyone I'm praying as long as I don't snore. And even if I do and I'll wake up, I'll just go amen and I'll fake it. So we'll
I'm just
see
gonna
what
sleep
happens.
during the speakers.
Dude, you know what? I'm like, seriously, like, and by the way, I'm gonna get a water balloon of holy water and throw it at John Vervaeke and see what happens.
I'm melty!
That's
No, I don't think that would
exactly
happen.
it. On that note, I wouldn't do that to him. Maybe a squirt gun though, or just
Super soakers of holy water.
yeah, just a little one. Hey, John, just how you doing? Just let it burn. All right, I'll come up with some bad ideas later.
Alright, well,
And
good
if
night
you
to
have
both
any
of
more
you.
bad ideas, all right, guys.
I don't know how much longer I'm
Peace
gonna
out,
keep
boys.
trying at this, but I want to at least get past this part because I've been stuck on it for like the last 30 minutes to an hour. So
Good
I'll keep
talking to
playing.
you.
Y'all go to bed.
All right, good night, dudes.
Good night, Ron. Curious if there's anybody still in the audience. Because yeah, this has been not ramming my face. Well, ramming my face into a wall, and then thorns, and then spikes, and then buzzsaws, over and over and over again. Because I just cannot. I thought it was like because I was definitely dealing with some lag, and so that was a problem. But I turned off the particles, and that has not solved the problem. So it seems to be a carbon-based error. Because this part I've got down pretty good now, and I figured out I'm pretty good, but not perfect. So wait for the honey to expand, so that way I have health, but I'm not spending too much time. Down, down, up, and then jump back a little bit, so that way I'm in the right spot there. And then I miss, and I miss it. Like, it's just... There's so many things that you have to do correctly, and I'm just not finding the ability to do every single one of them consistently on a single run. And I've had some that go further than others, but just cannot seem to do it. I swear I am dealing with lag even with the particles off, which is... Hang on. Is there anything I can do to improve... If I reduce the... What if I go to 30 hertz? Oh, it's not gonna let me because it's not the... That's not what the TV is on. What if I turn the frame rate cap off? Is that going to affect it? Also, I need to let the dog back in because she's upset. One moment, please. Still watching. Nope. That's okay. Nobody watching live.
There's also like some weird physics going on with this too, where like the bottoms of these walls are rounded in a weird way that makes it so that you like face plant into the spikes if you don't do it correct. Like if you, it doesn't grab it. If you dash into it at the bottom. Oh, Slasher's still here. That's good. Check YouTube's studio and I didn't see anybody. Ah. I don't know, man. Do you have besides get good, any advice for me? Because that's what I feel like the problem is right now. Like, there's definitely some instances where the lag spikes, but it's overall just like I can't seem to execute all of the things that I know that I need to consistently enough to actually get through this part, and it's very frustrating. Step back and reflect. That's probably not a bad idea. Let me get a glass of water real quick. Just give my hands a break. Be right back. And by give my hands a break, maybe that means give the dog a pet. That might be what needs to happen. It's just very upset with me. He left me outside all night. If you want me to throw the ball for you, you have to bring it here. I've not quite figured that part out yet. Alright. Took a breathe, got a glass of water. Let's try it again. gotta like jump back. Like you can maybe hit the saw on its way back, but it's super. That feels riskier than just going for the saw that's on the backside of those thorns. But that's a much narrower window, and I feel like I need Mark of Pride for that, and I can't put Mark of Pride on. So we're in a bit of a pickle. Because I feel like with the longer slash blade length, that would maybe work better. Probably should have thought of that before I started going on this. But then that requires me to get more charm notches, that requires a bunch of other work lead up. Hang out on the wall until you have the right timing to get the twigs. Deliberately hang out on the wall rather than just immediately jumping to the next one. And now I'm flailing. You're not supposed to flail. So you failed the Gom Jabbar. Ah. Do not want to concede to the game. I have to anticipate the saw blade coming back onto the screen, and then I have to dash to where it's going to be, because it's... I mean, I could try and hit it on the very edge, but it's better to try and hit it like as I'm traveling, and then bounce, dash, jump, and then try and down hit against the saw blade that's on the backside of the thorn stalactite. Oh, I rushed it. I knew I shouldn't have done that. I just mistimed that. I thought it was gonna hold at the end of its course for a little bit longer. brain lag. Okay, I need to sort of save my Mothwing flap to kind of get a better judge of that based off of where in the cycle the spikes are at the end there. And I need to flap between hits on every spike. And I need to not jump so much that I go on top of the column that has spikes. Need to go sooner or later. Probably sooner. Just missed that one. Stay. That was weird. Like flapped and hit at the same time, so I don't think I got another Mothwing flap off of that one. Timing down correctly. Flap between hits on space. Too early. Was closer though. Hang out on the third column long enough to get the cycle right. But needed to hit again before I jumped. Didn't grab the wall. Flapped on the first part instead of after dashing. Didn't time the cycle properly. Time the cycle properly. Oh man. low. Came onto it too hard, and so I didn't have the spacing to be able to flap time initial spike jumps correctly. Need to dash immediately off of that. It'll be correct in the cycle every time. We just need to dash. Oh, too far. Wrong cycle. Wrong cycle timing. Go till 9:30, and if I still haven't made any progress, I will probably call it done. Because generally when you stream video games, you're actually supposed to be like good at them. At least passively enough that you can beat the game that you're trying to play within a reasonable amount of time. Not just, slamming your face into the same wall over and over and over again. I'm calling game lag on that one.
it was so close! Don't rush it. Just chill. Dashed a little too late. Timed it wrong. No! Fuck! At least I know it's a 3 spike cycle. The other option is to try and just send it, but I kind of want to just pause for a moment, try and get the lay of the land, because that's part of the problem with this, is like, I'm just getting so few opportunities to even see like what it looks like further down there. Nope. Can't do it in front of it, you gotta do it behind it. On the plus side, at the end of this, I'm gonna get really good at poker. I'm gonna be really good at pogoing. Nope. I knew I messed it up the second I... Just a little bit more flap on that part. trying to focus on how and when and where the saw comes onto the screen. And I messed up the pogo. Flap. Almost had a fumble recovery. Almost. Also, these hanging plants in the foreground are so annoying. Am I about done, Kelly? Five more minutes. Give me 5 more minutes. Just give me 5 more minutes, Mom. Nope. Too short flap. Oh my goodness. I think the dog is telling me it's time to be done. Well, do you want to say the line or do I need to say the line? I just want pets. It's called the path to pain for a reason. Goodbye then. Stop. Stop your noise. Goodbye then. Be safe, friends. Don't you dare go hollow, and I will see you at Midwestbury.